The Pharos Lighthouse is one of the most magnificent man-made things of the world. It is the second tallest ancient wonder, only topped by the pyramids. It was once used to assist in a war, and was even said that its lights could burn down ships. This is the Pharos Lighthouse, and I hope you enjoy. The Pharos Lighthouse started to be constructed under the reign of Ptolemy I, finished construction under the reign of Ptolemy II. There is no exact date for when the lighthouse was finished, but it is safe to assume that it was finished, as I said, under the rule of Ptolemy II. His rule lasted from 284 BC to 246 BC. A man by the name of Sostratus of Knidos was reported to have been the architect, but the actual building was of course done by slaves. It was said that Sostratus had an inscription put on the lighthouse that said the lighthouse was dedicated to Ptolemy II, but underneath, when the original inscription fell off, Sostratus's name would be revealed. This, however, may just be a story. It is true, though, that there was an inscription, but I will get to that later. You may be wondering how much this lighthouse may have cost. Pliny the Elder said that 800 talents were required to build the lighthouse. 1 talent was the equivalent of 27 tons of silver. Nowadays, that would equate to around $10 million at the current value of silver. But of course, that's the current value of silver, so it can't really be compared. Back in the day, really back in the day, ships had no lights to use in the night and could not rely on the stars or blurry coastline to guide them into the port of Alexandria. Around the port of Alexandria were treacherous currents and perilous rocks that could easily destroy the unlucky sailor that strayed too close to them. This is why the lighthouse was built. It was a welcome sight for weary travellers and was a signal of safety. Whilst making my model, I used various different coins to build it. These coins have important details such as the big door in the lighthouse and the steps leading up to the door. In the bottom left of this picture, there's a little staircase, which actually represents a staircase that may have been there. These are important details to take into consideration when building my model. There were some mosaics as well that depicted what the lighthouse may have looked like. This is one of those examples. Underwater, there were huge statues found that are presumed to have been on the lighthouse. There was also a huge statue, like the one on screen now, of the goddess Isis found near the water around the lighthouse. People think this was from a place of worship for Isis that may have been near the lighthouse. This might be why there are statues of Isis next to the lighthouse on many coins, such as the one shown on screen. It's fairly easy. For starters, lighthouses nowadays are not as big as the ones in Alexandria. The closest to the Pharos is a lighthouse in France called the Île Vierge. It stands at 82.5 metres high. The Pharos was a lot bigger than that. The Île Vierge goes up straight. There are no multiple levels, it just goes straight up. As you can see in this clip, there's that bottom section that is significantly taller than the other two, and then as you look to the right of the screen, it's not very good, but you can actually see that middle layer that was about half as tall as the bottom. Now on the top, there was also a big circular shape one, and that's where the fire was lit, and I'm going to talk about that. And where the mirrors were actually placed, and I'm also going to talk about that. The first design feature that I'm going to be talking about is the big door. Now, this door we actually know about this door from many Arab travellers who went to the city of Alexandria. This door is talked about a lot in many of those. We also saw it on those coins, like I mentioned before. So the door was very prominent and it was always occurring in the things that we know. So we can safely assume that it was actually on the Lighthouse of Alexandria. The next design feature that I want to talk about are the 3 layers. Now I've already gone over the basics of these 3 layers, but as you can see in this clip now, I'm standing on the main base. Now this base was approximately 180 feet high, or so the people tell us. This is very tall and almost as and much taller than the lighthouses nowadays, like I've already mentioned. Here is the middle layer. This middle layer was approximately half the size, and there on top where the fire was, you could actually see that was the circular bit, where, as you could see, the mirrors and the fire was. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is this stuff. Now, that stuff which is now on screen, this signifies the fuel. Now, in ancient Greek, and especially Alexandria, there wasn't any wood, so it was thought that this stuff was actually poo, animal poo, and that is what the flames were used for. Thanks for watching my video. This is obviously my bibliography. So thank you for watching, Mr. Williams. Hopefully you learn a thing or two. And see you in class.